13th Annual Fantasy Football Summit was held this weekend. It's a 3-day meeting involving more than 20 of our fantasy football experts, analysts, reporters. And the end result is the 2019 ESPN Fantasy Football Rankings. Every single NFL player is sorted, so when my co-host Matt Berry forgets his draft time, he can just auto-pick. The rankings are live right now. They are on ESPN.com and the ESPN Fantasy app. And in case you're wondering, here are the top running backs. Here we go. Never too early. We start with the Giants' Saquon Barkley, a near unanimous pick as the number one running back after a rookie season in which he led running backs in fantasy points. Zeke Elliott slots in at number 2, coming off a season where his role in the passing game increased, leading to a top 5 overall finish among backs in fantasy. Number 3, Christian McCaffrey. The Panthers' back had 1,000 rushing yards, 100 catches, 13 touchdowns last season. Should see a similar workload. Coming in at number 4, Alvin Kamara, dominating early in 2018 before Mark Ingram came back from his suspension. Ingram's now in Baltimore, as you know, so Kamara's upside rises. And Melvin Gordon comes in at number 5, en route to his best fantasy season last year until he suffered that injury late, but he's healthy again and leads the way for what is expected to be a strong Chargers team. And here is the look at the rest, 6 through 15. So look at Todd Gurley. He falls outside the top 5, coming in at number 6, still ahead of the likes of David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, but lower than his overall production that the past 2 seasons would actually suggest. So for more on Gurley, here is the not my co-anchor, Matt Berry, and Daniel Dobb.
The skill set that Gurley has, it's ridiculous.
Gurley leaps over the pile. Touchdown, Todd Gurley.
A year like this establishes him as really one of the elite guys.
Okay, Matthew, we just set our 2019 fantasy rankings, and there was a big debate on Todd Gurley based on how his season ended.
Yeah, normally you don't have to debate the value of a player. He was the number 1 running back in fantasy on a per-game basis last year.
Right, but considering Gurley's knee problems and the Rams using an early third-round pick on Darrell Henderson, the questions around him are all about risk.
Exactly. Taking Gurley early is almost as risky as picking you to co-host the fantasy show.
How rude.
When I get on that field, it's game time.
Todd Gurley does it again.
The engine is Todd Gurley.
Think about this, Daniel. The Rams are going to limit Gurley's touches to keep him healthy. In an offense that showed last season, it can continue to perform at a high level without him on the field. Facts are facts. Gurley now has some red flags in terms of usage and injury concerns that other top fantasy running backs don't have.
So you're dropping him down to where, Matthew?
Well, out of our rankings summit, the consensus rank for him was running back 6. I have him slightly lower than that at RB7, behind Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott, Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, David Johnson, and James Conner. Look, Gurley has enough injury risk around him that some managers might not be willing to draft him at all. Todd Gurley's time as the top running back in fantasy might be coming to an end.
Hey, just like this segment is at an end.
Well done.
All right, so you can catch 2 episodes of the Fantasy Show with Matthew Berry breaking down the rankings right now on ESPN Plus. And tomorrow on SportsCenter, we'll break down Odell Beckham, Antonio Brown, and Le'Veon Bell and how they fit in fantasy after changing teams this offseason. Still, a Matt Berry present with our NFL analyst, Louis Riddick, who just dominates that War Room Fantasy League every year. We did the Fantasy Marathon last year, and you had a running back that you ID'd early before anybody else.
Took a lot of flack for that, too.
You did.
People were like, you can't take Saquon. You can't take him that high. Now he's consensus. I was listening to you, Hannah. I was listening to you over there.
I'm saying.
Hey, when you have a guy who has over 350 touches, 91 receptions, who now is going to be the focal point of the offense. I mean, if you didn't think he was going to be the focal point of the offense last year, you know he's going to be this year. Now being 1 year seasoned, kind of really knows what the NFL is all about. The coaching staff knows exactly how to utilize him. He's going to be one of those guys just going to be a volume monster. I mean, I know Matt Berry, not your co-host, Matt Berry. That guy likes to talk about volume. It's going to be huge for him. And remember, this year, Josh Jacobs is the guy this year. And he's a guy who doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on his tires as far as what he did in college. John Gruden, think about this. If you want to look at history, think back to 2005 when he had Cadillac Williams as a rookie in Tampa Bay, who had over 300 touches. Josh Jacobs is going to get a lot of run out there in Oakland because he is an underutilized pass receiver as far as his time in Alabama is concerned. Yep. As far as running the football, if you watch his Alabama tape, he's a monster. he's gonna have no other choice but to give it to him. The guy sets the tone like that.
I cannot wait to see what he does in the NFL. Just such a great story all around. Okay, now before we let you go, we have to check in on this youngster, this cornerback, Greedy Williams. So here's what he said at Brown's rookie minicamp this week, that he said at LSU he wasn't able to showcase his tackling ability. That's a quote. And that he said he is now, among other things he said, out to prove that he is a great tackler. So, I mean, when you broke down his tape, what did you see?
Yeah, and I didn't quite see it that way.
I'm not surprised.
I didn't see it as though not having a chance to showcase his tackling ability. Look, this is a tape I didn't get to show during the draft because I didn't really want to be negative about it. But right there is a chance for you to go ahead and showcase your ability down the goal line. As far as just being willing to be physical, didn't want to do it. He said he played too much man-to-man at LSU. That's why he couldn't tackle there either. This is a man-to-man, one-on-one situation against Calvin Ridley in 2017. Didn't look like he was really interested. This one's the one that really gets me. Here's a stalk block situation. Defeat the wide receiver and just put your arms around the ball. Just put your arms around him. Yeah. So, look, I mean, Freddie Kitchens has pretty much told him he's going to need to do that. The head coach up there has said, you're going to have to do better than that. Fantastic cover guy, but come on, Greedy.
Greedy also said that the Browns were going to win the Super Bowl.
Hey, I haven't won in 11 games.
Yeah,
so,
but Freddie Kitchens didn't like that too much either. Let's pump
That's
the
okay.
brakes.
I don't work for you, Freddie.
No, he said that to Greedy.
I thought you said he didn't like the 11 wins. My bad. I love you, Freddie.
I love you. Love you, Freddie. You're the man.